Okay, so here I am making a third video of the day in a matter of 30 minutes. So this video, I'm going to cover a few more topics in detail, such as the uncertification of their workers they have there. So they have these people called lumpers in there to receive the trucks in and unload them. Instead of having their actual workers employed there to do it, they have a temporary service sort of come in and unload the trucks for them. And so those temporary service people called lumpers, they have them come in and use the equipment, the powered equipment, such as the forklifts and the electric pallet jacks. None of them are certified on them. And as a matter of fact, they come in smelling like drugs. So it's even more of a workplace hazard. And you will be best to watch out for them when and if you work here, because they do come close to hitting most things around this building, such as poles and walls and other produce equipment and themselves. Actually, I've seen it in here to where they collide with each other on these equipment they drive around and ride around. But they'll play the big game if their own workers decide to have an accident. Like this one guy named Louie, who I trained and eventually got fired a week and a half later for hitting things and breaking the stand up forklifts. And so another issue that I have is with the produce area. See, we lost both our produce management team almost 2 weeks ago. Both our produce supervisors quit and walked out. Okay? You'd figure that they'd hurry up and hire somebody who's qualified for that area to operate in it, right? Well, you'd be wrong, because common sense does not exist here in this building. So instead of hiring somebody to replace them, they decide to pull somebody in from the receiving department, which is Gabriella, who I mentioned in the previous video. Gabby, she is supposed to be in the receiving department. And also Anthony, the other guy who I mentioned in the previous video, he's not supposed to be in there either. Anthony is the inventory control manager. So you wonder, why are they put in charge of that area? Well, it makes no sense to me why they didn't just promote somebody who already works in there, who already knew how to operate in that area. Just like when I stated in my previous video, when my boss, Ron, quit 2 weeks after we opened up, why wouldn't they just promote the person who they're having train everybody? Like me. Huh, doesn't make any sense, does it? No, no, it doesn't. See, because like I said, common sense doesn't exist here. You can be, you could probably still, for this building, apply for a management position and never have managed somebody before in your entire life. And I know that for a fact that you can, because there was this person who worked here before, Katie Kamala, who was a receiving supervisor. For some reason in the world, she never managed anybody before her in her life. And to add on to the icing on the cake, at this building, Katie Kamala would walk around and I was called in the office as a mediator because one of my coworkers heard that she was talking about how she can take on two guys at once. Now their names are Jamil and Tyrese, who work in the shipping department. She said they could take on both of them at once and that they were just her type. Just disgusting. And so that's why I know you can apply for any position here and get it, because they do not care whether you have experience or not. You could be a janitor and be more qualified than most of the people here. And I know that for a fact too, because there is a janitor who works here that has forklift experience. Isn't that a hoot? So this place is just filled with OSHA violations, and I know for a fact that there is 2 emails already been sent to this building from OSHA. You can tell that they don't care. They have no common sense. The management team here just is too busy micromanaging people that don't need micromanaged. And the pay rate is also insane too. You get paid $15.50 an hour to go and put up with all this crap. You're right. That's right. You're surprised too, aren't you? $15.50 to train your bosses to work in every single area in the building. And on top of that, for some reason, when you get hired in, like, I questioned it too, because they said there was supposed to be 2 different certifications you can get for working here. If you were to get certified on the high-low or the forklifts, you get a $1.29 raise, which is what I got. Okay? That makes sense. But for some reason, when I was working in the freezer for almost a month, because they offer you an extra dollar for being freezer certified. But when I asked about it, they said that it doesn't stack like that. That you don't get the extra dollar because you already got the $1.29 from being the forklift certified. Which doesn't make any sense to me. And I questioned the HR lady Amanda about it, and she just swept it under the rug there. Because, and if you remember right, HR doesn't work for you. HR works for the company. And you can't forget that when you're working here too, because the HR lady is really nice. She makes it seem like you can relate to her, but you can't. Don't ever trust her. You can't relate to her. Don't trust her for a second. And I feel like OSHA should come and visit this place for sure. And that whoever promoted Dan Nicholas to the warehouse management team, corporate or somebody needs to do a walkthrough or a walk-in, surprise walk-in. Make sure it's surprise too. Because I've been in previous companies too where they had walk-ins, but they were planned. So the warehouse manager of that previous workplace will go around and get everybody looking all nice and pretty and make sure that the building's all clean for the walk-in. So I really hope that this place does have a walk-in soon. Otherwise, it's just going to keep being a crap show. And I would eventually like to find a workplace on this planet that treats their workers with respect. If they want them to work 13-hour shifts, you'd figure that they give you you know, give you the benefit of the doubt when you're trying to go out there and take a piss, that you're trying to go out there and take a fucking piss. Because it's really degrading too, being reminded of the fact that they don't trust you when you're working your ass off all day, as if you walked around and ate some Pringles, like the previous 2 people who got fired for it.